Assalamu alaikum. Hello, welcome back to our channel. Today's video is a Travel with Intention series, so a continuation of video 2 of Travel with Intention series that we started a couple months ago. We were basically looking for ayahs in the Quran that referred to travel and why it's important to travel and the importance of travel and how travel is actually a form of worship for us as Muslims and how it's important for us to go out into the world, travel away from the prayer mat and actually go into the world and see God or Allah's signs and his creation so that we can actually glorify him better. So when we come back to our prayer mat after we've gone on our adventures and our backpacking and hiking and adventures, when you come back to the prayer mat, you actually have a better understanding of your prayer. So when you are telling your Lord that you are Al-Khaliq or the creator or you are the Lord, and when you're using these names of God and you're glorifying him, you actually have a perspective in mind that what's out there in the in the world and the creation and the wonders of the world that people talk about, you're actually able to apply that into your worship and be like, yes, for sure, you God, you are the creator. For sure, you are the greatest. There's no other way. There's no other way that you couldn't be our creator or the greatest. It's because what's out there is so amazing. And so this series was my intention with the series was so that every time we travel with intention. And when you go out into your travels and you book your vacations and you book your adventures, you're actually getting reward for them, because in the back of your head you're like, I'm getting reward for going out there and looking at what God has created. So every time you travel or every time you backpack or adventure and you go out into the world, my suggestion is to you and for your families, your children, your spouses, is to encourage that you travel with intention. You travel with a purpose and you travel an adventure and make it a form of worship for you, so that it works for you. You're having fun, but you're also worshiping God. And how great is this to have worship be amazing and fun? It doesn't have to be as kids, they might get bored of praying or all those things. You just make it exciting for them, that look, let's go out there, see the sunsets and the sunrises and the mountains and the animals. All those things are also worship. So it will actually invigorate their prayers and make them more excited to pray towards God when you make the connection between the two. So continuation of Travel with Intention. Today's verse is in Surah 22, Ayah 46. So let me pull that up real quick. Surah 22 is Surah Hajj, or Surah of, and if you know what Hajj is, actually Hajj just passed, so this is really nice. Hajj is the pilgrimage that Muslims go on once in their life, and that pilgrimage is a pillar of Islam. So it is one of the things that actually makes you Muslim, is when you go for Hajj. So Surah 22, which is Surah Hajj, Ayah 46. I'm just going to read the translation and kind of make my connection. So Ayah 46 of Surah Hajj is, have they not traveled throughout the land, so their hearts may reason and their ears may listen? So have they not traveled throughout the land, so their hearts may reason and their ears may listen? Indeed, it is not the eyes that are blind, but it is the hearts in the chest that grow blind. I thought this was such an amazing verse, because what this is teaching you is to understand. You don't need your brain, you need your heart to understand. How beautiful is that? As Muslims, we sometimes forget the connection and the spiritual connection between the rules and the halal and the haram and all those things. And those are all important rulings, and all of those things are important, but that's not only the true essence of our religion. Our religion, if you break it down to the root and the essence of it, it's something that has to do with the heart and the soul. It's something that's not very physical. It's actually something that's very spiritual and something that's you can't see, you can only feel. And this verse says it clearly, that you need your heart to understand. You need to travel, and you need your heart to understand things, your ears to hear, your eyes see things. So it's not that their eyes are really blind, it's that their heart is blind. And this beautiful, beautiful verse shows us that our beautiful religion encourages us to think and follow our heart. So think with our hearts and follow our heart, travel with our heart, and to listen with our heart. So our spiritual prayers and our dua, which we talked about, encourages us to get silent. It really encourages us to go silent and to go within ourselves when we're going into these acts of worship and this meditation. and to really connect our heart and our mind and kind of close that mental chatter up. Sometimes, 5 times a day we go for prayer for 5 times a day. This is really when we have to close our mental chatter and listen with our heart. Listen with our heart, follow with our heart, love God with our heart. And so sometimes this mental chatter is so loud and we're, unable to listen to our hearts. But 5 times a day as Muslims, you're encouraged to just tell your brain to just close it, stop talking, and now let's listen with our hearts. So practice having, this is something important in Islam, and it's called khushu. So it's the act of basically focusing in your prayer and focusing on your meditation and your connection with your rope that takes you up to God, your connection with God, and closing up the mental chatter of, did I cook food today? Did I clean? Did I go to work? Did I do this assignment at work? It's just to shut that down. Did the kids, did they make their beds? Just shut down the mental chatter, slow down, and to actually connect with God at a heart level. And travel does this for us. Our 5 prayers does this for us. Any act of worship that you think of, that's what it does. It makes you slow down and it makes you connect with your heart, with God. So that way, when you travel and observe the sunsets and the sunrises and the mountains and the oceans, it's just not something that you just see and your eyes see it and you move on, and you hear it with your ears and you move on. No, it's something that your heart hears, your heart sees, and it feels when you process it with your heart rather than process it with your mind. To start practicing that when you go out on your travels is just to go silent sometimes, in the hustle bustle of travel as it is to get to places and all that, but just go silent in your travels. Sometimes, when you're watching that sunset over the Grand Canyon or you're watching that sunrise at the ocean, just go silent. Just, sometimes we even pray at the beach sometimes. It's ridiculous. It's funny. It's not ridiculous. It's funny. Like some people might, give us stares like, what are these people doing praying on towels at the beach? But there's a reason we do that. There's a reason we pray at these sources of God's creation, and we'll do dhikr together. We'll remember God with our, together by repeating His names, and sometimes we'll pray there, do dua there, give salams or give peace to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam there, to make that connection that this is a time to go silent when these beautiful things are happening and when these beautiful sights and we're in awe. Go silent and just connect your heart to make a connection between your heart and the actual experience, so that it sticks differently in your mind and it creates a memory very different than just, oh, I saw a sunrise, I took a picture, and that's it. That's not it. It's much more than just that. So travel, observe, ponder, all of these things are worship. That peace that you get from prayer, from the prayer mat, or from when you go out and you go on a long drive, or when you go on those hikes, that peace you see from seeing greenery, trees, sunset, birds, animals, all of that is worship. All of that is good deeds. And we can see in this verse in Surah Hajj that Allah is telling us to listen and to ponder with our hearts, not our eyes only, not our ears only, but with our hearts, to listen and to observe, to take in, and so that your hearts don't get blind. And travel does that. It can be fun, relaxing, increases your creativity, all those things that I've talked about in my previous videos. Travel is a nourishment for your soul, so please, and it's an oxygen for our heart. So don't neglect this. Don't neglect this. I know during COVID, it's hard to get out. Even if you go on day trips, even if you go on weekend trips, weekend getaways, make it a point to get out of your comfort zone and to go out into the world and see things. Go for long walks, go for hikes with your family. Travel is that oxygen for our heart. We do need it. So from the prayer mat to the adventure, it is all ibadah. How lucky are we as Muslims to have such a variety of forms of worship for us. It's not just, and it's not just, the person who sits in a corner and is all alone and that's the person who's praying on his prayer mat and that's only ibadah. No, ibadah is in many different forms. It's so beautiful that our religion gives us this opportunity. So I just wanted to share this with you guys, this verse. I thought it spoke to our soul, it spoke to our hearts, and Allah is telling us, like, have you not done it? Like, wake up, go travel, and go worship me through connecting your heart to Him. So take care. This was my little tidbit of travel with intention with you guys and with this series. I hope this benefits all of you, and I hope you're enjoying this series. So take care. Assalamu alaikum.